It isn't cute or funny. Grow up and get sterilized. Just because she can spit out a kid a year doesn't mean it makes sense in this day and age. Don't tell her she is blessed because she is selfish. How much does she earn in her blogging? Just wondering. And I'm going to address that, but you have to have 1,000 subscribers. I'm working my way up. Keeping people's attention is important. A lot of times I'm not real good at that, but I'm trying. I don't think me having 6 kids caused the fish to choke on plastic. You have to consider people like me with hefty arms. No other man in his right mind will marry her with 6 kids. She's living in a dream world. I wish her the very best. I can tell. But I think she is selfish and half crazy.
You suck. By the way, I wish you the best.
Congratulations. Who am I to judge?
We're all gonna move to Mars.
Yeah, because the Earth can't provide enough nutrients, I guess, because of our kids.
It's not much different than if you had 1 kid, 2 kids.
Red kids, blue kids.
Red kids.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a Q&A with my husband, Aaron. He's never been on my channel before, but well, he has been in certain cooking videos. Anyway, so we've gotten a lot of questions concerning parenting and other things, and some of them were pretty general, but we're gonna try to answer them the best we can. These are just our opinions and how we do things. It doesn't necessarily work for everybody the same way, but we thought we'd share because a lot of people were interested. And at the end of this video, we're also going to address a few comments we got that we thought were kind of interesting, if that's the word for it. Anyway, for the most part, everyone was very kind to us and congratulating us on this pregnancy of baby number 6, and we really appreciated that. Everyone was very sweet. But there were a few that were, yeah, like I said, interesting. So we'll mention those at the end, and I'll read them to you guys, at least a few of them. But anyway, let's start out with something very basic. People are asking how old the kids are, which is very simple. Well, it's kind of simple. Owen is 5. That we have some birthdays right around now. So, okay, Owen is 5, Felicity is 4, Titus is 2, almost 3, Hattie is 1, she's almost 2, and Tabitha is
6 months.
Okay, thank you. Anyway.
I remembered 1.
Okay, so the next question is people really wonder how I keep my energy up. You keep asking me this. How do you keep your energy up? What you must have a lot of energy and things like that. But I would just say my energy is average. Sometimes it's a little below average, but it's average. And I don't really have any big secrets or tips and tricks as far as energy goes, but I mean, I get a good amount of sleep. I would say I get probably more sleep than somebody might get with a newborn who's colicky and stuff like that, because our kids do sleep pretty well. For having 5 kids, I think we do really well. So that's basically, I'm not a coffee drinker. I don't drink soda, energy drinks, or anything like that. So it's basically just sleep. And that, you know, that's, I don't really have any other tips as far as energy goes. Do you? No. And
I mean, I only sleep about 5 hours a night, and I still, I don't know, I don't really need that much sleep. I function pretty. I think the other thing is too, I work in an office, so I don't really use that much energy.
Yeah.
Like if I worked in construction or something like hard labor, I think that would make a difference. But
yeah,
working in an office, I don't really.
And as far as like overnight and stuff, like when Tabitha was really, really little, and she would get up more often to eat, Aaron would help with that. So like we would go, like every other feeding or something. We just kind of share the load, especially at night, because it can get, you know, we need sleep. So that's a big tip, I think, to share the load of everything. Mm-hmm. And let's see, how do you handle tantrums was the next question. And I think that's an interesting one, because it kind of goes along with people wonder what we do for discipline and things like that, which is a very touchy topic. But we don't spank our kids, and we have found different methods. Like some of them timeouts might work better, and then some of them might need a toy taken away or a privilege taken away if they're old enough to understand, things like that. But what would you say about that? We've gotten asked before how, like, if we would send one of our kids to go sit in their bed, like how we keep them there. What if they don't go to their bed? What if they get up? Well, if they're, you know, they're in trouble, they did something wrong, they stay in their bed, they don't get up. So we don't need to spank them or anything like that, or use physical violence, or, you know, hurt them in any way. You know, they'll listen as far as like when they're being punished. Especially if they have like a new toy or something, we can take that away. And right now one of my kids just got a new watch, and yeah, he did something even this evening. And didn't you take his watch away?
Yeah, so I just took his watch away, like right before we started filming.
Yeah, so if they, you know, it's not that they can't mess up. Some things, you know, they just made a mistake, but if it's something where they really just need to learn a lesson, then we'll take that away for whether it's a few hours or a day or whatever, you know. Anyway, let's move on. Well, this is a very general question. People are asking, how do you do it? And I got several different people asking me questions like that. Teach me your ways and stuff like that. People keep saying like, it's nothing really special. I mean, it is. I mean, parenting is a special thing, but it's just, it's kind of hard. People have been wondering about our finances too. Like, how can you afford all those kids? It's, you know, we're still able to do things just like other people can, just like normal people can. And yeah, it's not like say if our kids want something. I have a problem, maybe, I guess you might consider it a problem, around Christmas time and birthdays and whatnot. I get the kids too many things and too many gifts and too many toys, and
Amen.
yeah, I get a little excessive with that. So whenever the kids would want something, I'm trying to think of all the parenting tips I can think of right now, but our kids are little, you know, our oldest is 5, so it's not like we're super experienced. We just have a lot of them. So yeah, but when they want something, like, so one of my kids was asking for something recently, and what I did, he really, really wanted it. And so what I decided to do was I said, you have to either wait for Christmas, wait for your birthday, or you can earn it. And so that's what he decided to do, is earn it. So what we did is we went on Amazon, we found one that he wanted, we saw how much it was $16. So I gave him a little to-do list illustrated with pictures and little check boxes that he could check them off when he did them, and how much each chore was worth. So one of my kids drew crayon on the wall, so I had that other child scrub the crayon off the wall. But I mean, I didn't obviously expect him to get it done, but I just wanted to see him put the effort in. So he did things like that, cleaned his room, made his bed, and earned enough money to get whatever he wanted. So that's one thing. I was trying to think of another thing. I think routines are important, consistency is important, following through is important. We don't always do everything perfectly, but these things are really important. What was I gonna say? Do you have anything? Something that we do regularly that the kids can always look forward to is we have sleepovers on Friday nights. So every Friday night, no matter what we're doing, whether we're like, whether it's somebody's birthday or like anything going on, even if it's something unusual, we always make sure we have a sleepover Friday night. So that's where the kids who are out of cribs, not the 2 really little ones, even though Tabitha, she kind of does have a sleepover with us, but not, the kids don't sleep in our bed with us. If we're gonna have a sleepover night, they will all come in the room with us, or we'll all sleep out in the living room, and they just kind of have mattresses on the floor, and they each have their own little bed and stuff that we just move the mattresses, and we watch a movie and have popcorn before bed. And that's what we do every Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So any more tips before we get to the interesting comments?
I'm just waiting for the comments. I want to see what these comments are.
Yeah, so, all right, let me just move on to the comments, because that's all the tips I can think of for now. Let's see, should I start in the beginning? That's not good. Okay, so one woman was, which I think I addressed some of these, like, we got comments and messages and stuff like that, so it's not like all just comments or whatever, but I'll refer to them as comments because there's something people commented anyway. I used to think having many children was a good thing, but after having brought 4 kids up, I think it wasn't fair to them because I wasn't able to afford things I would have been able to if I had only had 2 kids. I couldn't take them to amusement parks and other enjoyments as it family, like trips, vacation, etc. On top of that, I had to work extra days to make up for the income a big family needs. Thus, not able to spend more time with them and wasn't able to help them with schoolwork when they needed it during elementary school. Now I can't afford to send them to college, and I wasn't able to save money for my own retirement plan for the future. I just hope I don't become a burden to them when they're trying to survive life that I wasn't able to prepare them for by giving them a good college education. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Somebody decided to join us. So she is ooh, she still stays up with us a little bit sometimes and doesn't go to bed the same time as the kids every night. She'll go to bed closer to when we go to bed, sometimes a little bit before, but either way, she doesn't interrupt our couple time. Like if we put the kids to bed at 7:30, and some of them don't need as much sleep as others, but either way, they're good and quiet. They go to bed and they wake up all around the same time. So yeah, like I said, sleep goes pretty well here. So people, that's another thing a lot of people have been asking is how do we spend time together as a couple, and how do we get like quiet time or alone time or time to relax? And that's what we do. We make sure bedtime is very on the dot. Well, it's not always exactly on the dot, but right around 7:30 is when the kids go to bed. Okay, so this person, back to the comment, this person was also saying, but it gives them, she was talking about college, gives them the option of not living on a minimum job. So the only way that you could make anything above minimum wage is if you have a college education. Is this true?
No, obviously not, because I don't have a college education, so.
Yeah, and he's providing for a family of, well, we're going to be a family of 8, and on one income. We live on one income. And a lot of people see that as, you know, old-fashioned, me being a stay-at-home mom. We've gotten a lot of comments like that. Just, you know, that I should go out and get a job and stuff like that. But honestly, daycare is expensive too, so there's another thing. And I mean, those same people probably don't want us to have any more kids, so I don't know.
Wait, so what were all the things she said?
She said you're not able to afford things that you could afford if you had less kids.
Like what?
She brought 4 kids up, and
I couldn't take them to amusement parks. Okay, well, we've been to amusement parks with our kids.
Yeah, if the kids say like, oh, we want to see a shark or something, we don't immediately go like, let's go to an aquarium and all get in the car and go. Obviously that wouldn't be, like, that wouldn't make sense, but we'll make a plan to. And it's not that we couldn't afford it, you know, we'll just plan when a good time is to go and stuff like that. Like we have no limitations as far as that goes, like, you know what I mean? I mean,
we've been to the zoo.
The pandemic is kind of a limitation.
Well, yeah, but normally the kids have been to the zoo, the kids have been to aquariums.
Yeah, and that's another
amusement
thing
park.
is they talk about traveling and stuff like that. How many states has Owen been to? Owen is 5.
Owen's 5. He's been to New York, Georgia, Florida, Utah,
Alabama,
Arizona, Alabama, Nevada. Yeah, so saying that you don't get to travel when you have a lot of kids, not true.
He's been on, like, I wasn't on my first airplane until after I had Owen, and Owen has been on an airplane like 3 times or 4.
Yeah, 3 times he's flown.
Yeah.
So that just proves that you can definitely travel with kids.
Yeah, and the people talking about the income, they keep saying like you can't afford a large family, but I don't recall telling these people how much that, you know, how much you make.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what I don't like is
Aaron could be making like
$500,000 a year.
$1 million. Well,
$1 million a year.
He could be like, we could be millionaires, guys. Like, we're not, but you know what, we could be. And these people just assume that we're not rich. But anyway, we have 2 cars. We are going tomorrow morning to pick up a van at a dealership because we need to upgrade. And what else? We have like,
I think, yeah, there's obviously some couples that shouldn't have a lot of children because maybe they're making minimum wage or they just can't afford it, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But to assume that every couple that has a lot of kids can't afford things or can't go on vacations or can't go on trips, can't buy new cars, that's not fair. Because obviously we're living proof you can do those things. Because like I said, we travel, we do tons of fun. I mean, even going out to eat, like we go out to eat, what?
I'm sure it's at least once a week. Yeah. I mean, the pandemic has made things a little bit different, but for the most part, that's what we try to do. We'll just try to make things fun, go somewhere, have a picnic if the weather allows it, and, you know, but not like, yeah, it's, you know, we still do fun things with the kids. Just because we have 5 of them doesn't mean we can't. I feel like we do more than a lot of people I know with only like 2 kids.
I honestly think we do more than couples that have no kids. See, she agrees. No kids or 2 kids. Well, like even like I know someone who said that their husband grew up in a family of 6 siblings, and they traveled every year. They went to like a bunch of different states. She said she thinks he's been almost like every state in the country. But they went on camping trips and tons of vacations, and that's family with 6 kids, like us. It's gonna be like us. So yeah, you can still travel and do all those things. I mean, the only difference I guess is maybe it just requires a little bit more planning in advance. But
yeah, and like we said, by no means are we saying that we think everybody should have a large family. I think there is kind of a limit at some points. I heard something years ago, which I think is a really good tip, really interesting to think about, is when you, like, the amount of responsibilities you have in your life, whether it's 1 child or like 3 jobs and 10 kids or something, you know, whatever it is, you kind of are like, you max yourself out. Whether it's, so like when I had just 1 child, I felt like, wow, like this is a lot. Like I had a lot to do. So by no means am I downplaying people who have like, you know, just 1 child either, because you have like your work, you know, it's not like you have less work, even though like, I guess if you think about the quantity of things to do and stuff like that, and like all the details and stuff, yeah, it's more work having more kids. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just, you kind of learn as each child comes and things happen. Like tonight when I was getting some of the kids ready for bed, and before they went to bed and they were having their snack and everything, 3 kids needed me at one time, and that is not uncommon for that to happen. Like, 1 kid wanted to show me something, another kid needed me to come, and then another kid tripped right behind me. So you just kind of have to think in the moment. So in the moment, the first kid didn't need me that bad, and then the second one, or the one who tripped, I was consoling her with my arm while I was talking to the 3rd kid. So you just kind of have to like just pause and think about it for a minute. Okay, so we're gonna go to the last comment. Well, is this the last one? Maybe it's not. But probably one of the most interesting comments. Although I will just address this one. We'll save the good one for last. Okay, so moving on. The baby, by the way, is laying down for bedtime.
And guess what? You can think about it. We're alone. Couple time. Do you hear any kids screaming or any kids running around and taking away our attention from each other? Nope. So couple time.
Yeah, people kept assuming that we don't have time together.
We never have time alone. How do you guys have time alone with all the kids?
It's every night. Every night is a date night. And like if we actually wanted to go out, we have people to watch the kids. So
it's not that hard.
No, it's not. It's not. Anyway, someone was saying that the only way they would have that many kids is if they had a farm and raised and grew their own food. That way they wouldn't have to work so hard to afford the things, and they would always have plenty to do as a family. She said, but for real, that's the only way she would do it. Now, I don't know how much a farm costs, but...
A lot more than 6 kids. Guarantee you that.
I just thought that was
Considering just a tractor alone costs more than most people's houses.
Okay, and so the nicest woman who commented starts out by saying, sorry, I think you need to stop. And I'm not going to mention her name. I'm not going to give her that attention, but also I didn't ask permission, so I'm not going to mention their names. And then she says, the world is overpopulated. Haven't you heard of replacing you two? It is my business when I see people bragging about another kid when you're over by 4. It isn't cute or funny. Grow up and get sterilized.
That's very polite.
That's, yeah.
So over by 4?
We're over by 4. So having 6 kids. So we have a 2-kid limit.
Is that like a new law that just passed in America, or?
Yeah, I think so.
So I just wonder then, so we're 4 over.
Yeah.
So then does she comment on people's videos who have less than 2 kids and tell them they need to have 2 kids?
I mean, yeah, I doubt it. But yeah, her comment gets more interesting. So she says, she's talking about climate change and the awful weather we're experiencing. Our soils have been so overfarmed and nutrients have been depleted, and then they advise us to use organic veggies now because of regular are full of pesticides and are lower in nutrients. Sorry you apparently haven't heard of the huge amount of trash that floats around in our oceans and all the plastic bottles that are discarded into the ocean. Fish eat these bottles, so now our fish contain plastic pieces as well. So
it's amazing what 4 extra kids can do.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten to the part about moving to Mars, but our air quality is bad because of the overuse of gas that causes warming of the atmosphere. No, I am not a writer, but I was a nurse working in dialysis, labor and delivery, recovery room, emergency room, hospice, outpatient surgery for 50 years. I apparently know more about what is going on this planet than all of you thinking bringing 6 kids from one couple into the world is a good idea. That is about 4 more than what is average for one couple. Just because she can spit out a kid a year doesn't mean it makes sense in this day and age. Don't tell her she is blessed because she is selfish.
Wow. So the fish are choking on bottles because of the kids. And the environment's polluted because of the kids. I'm just trying to process all this.
And there were people, because this is on like a social media thing, and there were people who were saying like that's wrong, or that's, you know, kind of keep her in check a little bit as much as they could. And I think a lot of people then just stopped commenting because somebody said you're sad and you're wrong. And she said, I am not sad or wrong. You people taking up for woman having way too many kids, but you guys go on and on, encourage her. She is already getting hefty. At least her arms are fleshy. Her husband will meet someone cute and slim chick at work, out at and walk out, leaving her to raise 6 kids with her blogging job in 5 years. Tell me you haven't watched that happen to your friends. Divorce rate is 50%, and that means half of all marriages end in divorce.
True.
Did you know 50% is half? So.
Yeah, thank you for telling us that.
Surely you have noticed that happening, don't you? How much does she earn in her blogging? Just wondering. And I'm going to address that because lots of people have made comments like, oh, I'm giving you whatever. Not lots of people. One person in the past made the specific comment that, or maybe it was more than one, but anyway, saying like, I couldn't believe I clicked on your video and I'm giving you money. Well, I don't make money on YouTube. I'm not monetized right now, and even if I would be monetized, you have to have 1,000 subscribers. I'm working my way up. I'm trying to get there to hit 1,000 subscribers, but you also have to have 4,000 hours of watch time in a year, a 12-month period, and whatever else. But then once you do get monetized, it's slowly. So you might make like $20 a month or something like that, and you really have to put the work in. So it's not like, oh, somebody clicked on a video and now I'm rich. It's like you have to be monetized first, and then when you are, it goes by watch time. So quality of video is important, keeping people's attention is important. A lot of times I'm not real good at that, but I'm trying, and that's the point. So not making anything.
Well, it's interesting that she points out that the divorce rate is 50%, and she also said earlier that the average household has 2 children. So it seems to me that the divorce rate and the children have nothing to do with each other, because if the average household only has 2 kids and the divorce rate is still that high, then what does that say? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So the divorce rate is soaring, yet the amount of children per household is going down. So.
And it's not like, if you're so concerned about, you know, nutrients in the soil and fish choking and stuff like that, which is obviously a legitimate concern, I don't think me having 6 kids caused the fish to choke on plastic. But, I mean, I don't think I personally did, and I'm sure if she's watching this, because I'll send her the link, if she's watching this, I'm sure she'll probably be a little offended by this and think maybe I'm not understanding it or something, but it's really I gotta be careful what I say.
The overpopulation thing is completely false. That the world's overpopulated. What was that study we were just reading the other day? It said you can fit the entire population of the world in Los Angeles County or something.
Okay, this is just what we read, by the way, guys. We're not like...
Yeah, fact check.
We're not
Yeah,
telling you this is the fact. Yeah, but even if you look it up, you can't. You gotta verify your sources.
That's true. So I'm not saying this is true, that you can, but I do. So I don't know if you can fit everybody in Los Angeles County. I've heard Texas, you could fit everybody in Texas, I think, right? Shoulder to shoulder or something.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know. But the point is, the world is not overpopulated. So, sorry to burst your bubble.
Not in our opinion.
Not in our opinion. Well, I mean...
The studies that we've read. And, you know, there are a lot of them.
You can find any article. I can find articles saying it's not, and whoever's
okay, but if you actually do the math, though, because everyone believes, kind of generally, we have this many billion people in the world. Everyone, like, kind of, you know, agrees on that. A lot of people do. And if you measure, like, square foot, the average size of a human, I guess, and, like, square foot, I mean, you have to consider people like me with hefty arms or fleshy or whatever.
Yeah. I think you're really freaking hot.
Shut up. Now, I don't know what she meant by this, but she said trying to clot HGE. Whatever that means. An educated 6 kids is a gargantuan? No, gargantuan? I don't know. Gargantuan, maybe? But I don't know how to say that. Job, unless you make a living wage. No other man in his right mind will marry her with 6 kids. She's living in a dream world. I wish her the very best. I can tell. But I think she is selfish and half crazy.
You suck. By the way, I wish you the best.
So thanks for that. Someone else just said 2 is enough. And people have said little things like, you know, it sounds like they're trying to be nice because they'll say, congratulations, who am I to judge? And things like that. So I think I'm done with those comments though. But wait, I didn't read the one about Mars. She did say, I guess I must have lost that one, but she did say something about how we're all going to have to, did I miss that? Did I read it? I don't think so.
I don't remember.
How we're all going to have to move to Mars.
Oh no, you didn't say that one. Wait, because of the kids?
Yeah, I don't know where that one went. Yeah, well, everything is because we're having 6 kids.
We're all going to move to Mars?
Yeah, because there's not gonna, the Earth can't provide enough nutrients, I guess, because of our kids.
Yeah. Well, at least there's no fish on Mars, so we can't choke the fish.
Yeah, that's a plus.
So, the bottom line is this. What's the bottom line? You can have a large family at a young age. We've proven that. I'm 26. I'm about to have my 6th child. You can have nice stuff. We have a nice home. We have 2 newer vehicles. We're about to, well, you said that. We're about to go get the van tomorrow. Pick up a van from a dealership. I have a good paying job. And I don't know, I'm just trying to take in all the comments. Like, I think the problem is, like I said earlier, a lot of people just assume that because you have a lot of kids, you can't afford anything, have a romantic marriage. Like, I think looking back on our marriage personally, we have experienced more romance and more time alone together later in our marriage than we did in the beginning when we didn't have any kids. Because I think when you first get married and you don't have kids, you don't really treat time as special because you figure, well, we have plenty of time, we're alone, we don't have any obligations, we don't have any kids, so you don't treat time as special and you, whatever, stare at your phone or do whatever. Where when you have kids, you treat time more special.
Yeah, there have been people we would tell, like, oh, we will spend like this much time together in the evening or whatever, and they're like, well, I don't spend that much time with my spouse.
Yeah.
And like,
and they don't have any kids.
No kids, you know. Yeah. And it's fine, by the way. I have to add this, if people are still watching, thanks, by the way. I have to add this, that if you don't have kids, if you struggle with infertility or something like that, like, we're not here to judge or here to like make you feel bad. I really don't want to make anyone feel bad because we have been very blessed with we didn't struggle with that. And I can't really say much to that because I don't know how it feels, except that I know it's hard, but yeah, I don't know how hard. I can't speak from like a perspective of somebody who knows because I haven't been through that. So yeah, that's not to make anyone feel bad because I know people have said things like they wish they could have had more kids, but you know, they didn't start until they were 40, or they weren't able to, or whatever. And, you know, those things are not always, they're not fun. So that's a more serious note though. So anyway, anything else you want to add?
Just don't assume that you can't, or I guess for couples that are watching this, young couples that are watching this, that are considering having a lot of kids, or they want to have a large family, but society tells them, like what that woman was saying, that you're going to have to move to Mars if you have a lot of kids, or the fish are all going to die. It's not true. Like, you can, I don't know, I wish I could give them hope. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like so many people get discouraged. It's not that bad at all. Like, we don't struggle financially. We don't struggle in our marriage. We have plenty of time together. More time probably than couples without kids. Like,
oh, another concern though that I forgot to address is that people think that you don't have time, individual time with each kid, because there's so many kids. How do you do that? But I think you kind of develop a sort of sense for it. Mm-hmm. I know, like, I didn't prepare what to say, so I'm trying to just think as I'm talking, but you kind of just sort of figure it out as you go. So, like, recently I've been feeling like one child needs a little bit more one-on-one time, so I'll have this child maybe get up from nap early or something like that, and like spend some special time with just that child because the baby's sleeping and I can, and whatever, like something like that, where you just kind of carve out time where you can throughout the day and make that child feel special. So just recently, it was like last week or the week before, I wanted to spend some one-on-one time with one child, so I said, hey, I'm gonna take her to a hotel for the weekend, which people think, by the way, that I don't get to do like anything. And I just got my nails done, my hair. Oh, yeah. I don't always enjoy doing stuff like that, but like Aaron sent me on a weekend trip one year for Mother's Day and my birthday, and that was a very nice gift. I got to go away, but I don't like being alone. I don't prefer that. So, but it was like, it's such a relaxing time and stuff like that. So he tries to get me to do things like that and have alone time. It's just hard for me because I like to be surrounded by people, by my family and everything.
Yeah, like even recently I had a conference that I was going to go to in Orlando, Florida. And so I could have easily just went to the conference by myself, but I took Owen with so we could have one-on-one time, and we got to enjoy that trip together. So you just look for opportunities to spend one-on-one time. You don't have to go crazy trying to figure out how are you going to spend time with it. Just kind of I don't know, to me it just like naturally comes. You just look for opportunities and you...
Yeah, like if I'm like, hey, I have to run to the store real quick, and I'll think like, oh, this child probably needs a little time with me.
Take this one with me, yeah.
I'll take that one, yeah. Or like, yeah, just things like that where if we think that we need, or if one of them just asks for it, if they just want to have a special time, then we'll just be like, fine, let's do that. Let's figure it out and make that time. Some kids like different things more. Some kid might want to go out for ice cream, and another kid might want to just play a game or something. And, you know, that's fine. Every child's different.
You just have to be good with time management. And as far as finances go, you just have to be good with budgeting. If you can have good time management to be with your family, and you can budget very well, have a good paying job and budget that very well, there's really not much you can do. It's not much, or there's very little that you can't do. Right. It's not much different than if you had 1 kid, 2 kids, 5 kids.
Red kids, blue kids.
Right. It doesn't matter. Like, that's the thing that people focus on, but it doesn't change anything. If you have the money for it and you can budget the money, then it doesn't matter. I mean, right now, if we wanted to, we could throw all the kids in the van and go to Florida for a week. Like, nothing's holding us back. We could easily do that. I mean, it wouldn't really be convenient right now, but we could. We're not like tied down to the house, like, oh, we can't go out and do anything. We have all these kids. We're stuck here. Like, it's not like that. Though people make it seem like that.
Yeah, we are trying to be respectful with the pandemic.
Yeah.
But we're just trying to make a point that finances are not what keep us bound, and time is not what keeps us bound. We have time just like anyone. Aaron works a regular job. He just started this sort of part-time job, and not because we needed extra money.
Yeah.
But because he's getting licensed as a pastor, and that's what he's doing, like, for our church and stuff. So he has to have time for studying and things like that. So he really, there's a lot of balancing that goes on and schedules, and I'm trying to work out all the doctor appointments and stuff, you know, with a lot of kids, with being pregnant, and there's just a lot of appointments and things. But as long as we figure things out and we're able to plan things and we carve out time for everything, you know, and we have our calendar and we have communication, that's really important. And so, yeah, we have like our emails linked together, and just the other day I saw an email come through for him for something he was supposed to schedule for today, and I right away was able to check the calendar and be like, oh, that day's free and whatever. So anyway, that's how we do it. And
even still, we've been talking, I don't know how long we've been recording, but the kids are quiet. Alone time. There's no kids climbing all over us. There's no screaming. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
let's go spend some alone time together.
That's how we're closing it?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, it's getting kind of late, I guess. So, look forward to all the fun videos I have coming up on my channel. They're fun for somebody who likes this sort of thing, you know, pregnancy stuff. So, I think real soon here I'm going to do like my pregnancy symptoms, my early ones. The ones I get almost every pregnancy. So, I'm going to be talking about that. Anyway, so thanks so much for tuning in, and thank you for staying till the end. And don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Did you like kissing my hefty cheek?